Welcome to Yoga Intermissions, coming to you from Salt and Sand Studios. My name is Karen. It's great to be here with you today, whatever today means for you, live or recorded. Our focus today at Salt and Sand Studios in Vermont is on gentleness, kindness, and unconditional love and compassion for oneself, which translates to others as well. So we're going to start as outlined in the description with some breath work. We're going to add a mudra to that, a hand gesture. We'll move into metta meditation, loving kindness meditation, and then we'll move into some gentle movement, followed by shavasana. So find a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you. And if you've crossed your legs in a habitual manner, see if you can cross them the opposite way. If you're not crossing your legs, totally okay. You might be seated on a chair with your feet flat on the floor, or sitting with your back to the wall so that you can aid in finding a long spine. That's really part of the objective physically here, is a nice long spine. So maybe you consider tilting the pelvis a little upward, lifting like there's a straw as you breathe, lifting from the heart, tucking the chin just a little bit down and back, and relaxing the shoulders, which can be one of the hardest things for us to do. So we'll start with the hands in the lap. We're going to shrug the shoulders up to the ears, breath in, press them behind and release them, breath out. We're going to take the hands and place them palms together at the heart. Keeping the heels of the hands, the thumbs, and the pinky fingers together, spread the rest of the fingers. It's kind of like you're making a tulip blossom or some other sort of blossom. And if your hands are like mine with a little bit of arthritis or uncooperativeness, just allow the shape to take whatever it takes. You might round the hands a little bit and you place them near the heart. We're going to use some belly breath, breathing all the way into the belly and then up to the heart, as if we're lifting the heart toward this kind of flower. You're welcome to close the eyes or just downcast them and bring your gaze a little forward, maybe 3 feet or so from your shins. Mouth is closed, but the jaw is a little dropped. And we breathe in through the nose. Breathe out through the nose. This time as you breathe in, fill the belly way around the body. And out. Now the belly and all the way up to the heart. Exhale. Slowing it down, breath in all the way to the heart and the throat. Breathe out. Maintain a deep breath at your cadence. Knowing that you're working this full body breath into your Padma Mudra, your hand gesture. Warming up the heart, feeling a connection of the heart with the hands. Bring to mind now some being you're grateful for. Imagine that through your heart and your hands, there builds a green thread or green energy or a green mist. And as the breath exits the body, that green thread or energy or mist reaches out to that person for whom you are grateful. Drop your hands to your thighs. Sweep them around and up overhead. Breathe in. Press the palms together overhead and take a peek up at your thumbs or maybe just your wrists. Draw the sides of the body long and release your knees. Bring the hands to the heart. Drop the hands down to the earth. Shrug the shoulders up to the ears. Breathe in. Press them behind you, release and breathe out. This time, inhale, arms forward, palms up. Stay here for the exhale as you squeeze the shoulder blades together like they're interlocking. Inhale, arms overhead, palms face backwards. Stay here, drop the shoulders, face the palms out, left and right. Breathe in. Exhale, arms wide, palms face down. Breathe in, shrug the shoulders up. Breathe out, release the shoulders and the hands down by the sides. Checking in to see if you're comfortable. Maybe you need to shift around as we move into our metta meditation, loving kindness, kind of like one word squished together, almost like some German words. Hands wherever they feel okay. Palms up is ideal for the exchange of energy, but that doesn't feel right for everyone. So maybe palms down. That could also be ideal. Or your hands in your lap at the back of the right, stacked in the palm of the left, and the thumb pads gently touching. Make a little space between the body and the arms if you can to allow for a free flow of the breath. And here, once again, lips are lightly parted. The mouth is closed though, and the jaw is loose. The gaze is down and forward or inward. There's no right or wrong in this meditation. I'll offer a couple of options that essentially we're going to use the breath, use the mind, use the unthinking, the feeling part of us to send out love and kindness to beings. So maybe the being you were grateful for comes back to mind, or maybe you picture someone else who loves you unconditionally. Keeping the breath slow, imagine that you are sending loving kindness on your exhale to them. Maybe that color green comes into play again, or maybe it's sort of a white fog or something pink and happy color for yourself. So each breath in, lots of powerful love. Each breath out, you send it out, picturing this person in front of you, receiving. Maybe you're looking them in the eyes. Maybe it's not a person, maybe it's another being. Now bring to mind someone who has your best interests in mind and send them loving kindness on your breath. Breathe in. Exhale when you're ready, following the breath all the way to this being with love and kindness. I'll picture someone you don't know very well. Maybe it's someone you see at the grocery store or at a restaurant you regularly go to, someone with whom you might exchange pleasantries but never really had a deep conversation, someone about whom you feel neutral. Allow them to stand right in front of you and look into their face and feel the warmth in your heart that you've developed through your other two loving kindness beings. And send this person love and kindness on the exhale. Bring to mind someone with whom you might have recently had an unpleasant exchange, or maybe just a feeling, a sense of discontent with one another. Allow them to be right in front of you. Look them right in the face and allow this warmth to be shared with them. Breathing in, exhaling loving kindness. Imagine now you are atop a mountain or a hill, and below you in the valley is all the beings you've ever met. Maybe you can pick out a few, and some are four-legged, and perhaps some swim and others fly. Maybe some crawl or slither. Some might sit, some might stand. And we send loving kindness out to all beings, those whom we have met, those whom we have not. Allow the breath to flow slowly, gradually, and fully. Now imagine an exchange with all these beings whereby you're sending loving kindness out to them and they are returning it back to you. So there's an exchange of loving kindness. And the exhales and the inhales are filled with gratitude and compassion. Maybe a little smile comes to your face. A little Buddha-like, beatific smile. Take a big breath in through the nose. Release it from the mouth. Sweep your arms up and out, or out and up. Bring the palms together at the heart. Let the eyes drift closed. Open up the collarbones. Lengthen the torso. Bring to mind now an intention for the remainder of the practice, which is the more physical part. We'll celebrate that and surround ourselves with all of this loving kindness we have created and shared, and with the merits from our intentions using a chant of Om. We'll take a cleansing breath first. Ah. Once you've flickered your eyes open, if you are seated on a prop, go ahead and remove that. We're going to come to seated with the legs reaching wide. So you might go to the long edge of the mat for that, or especially if you're on a rug, that might feel a little bit better. So noting how the morning body is feeling. We're going to lift from the top of the pelvis all the way to the collarbones, and then from the sitting bones all the way to the crown of the head. Take a look over your left knee and slowly crawl your hands forward outside that left leg, working to retain a long, straight spine, as straight as it would naturally be, rather than rounding into the fold. And you might go pretty deep. My hamstrings and my adductors and abductors are pretty tight today. I'm going to reach outward with the heels and peel the toes back toward the torso. Using a breath out, rise back to your seat, face the center between the legs, and then crawl the fingers forward again, finding a nice long spine. You might feel your hammies like I am, maybe even your calves, maybe a little bit of stretch in the Achilles. Breath out, rise back up, face your right knee, and crawl forward. with the fingers, reaching the heart as if you're reaching it beyond the toes. And again, you might not come very far. Come back up, come to center, and crawl forward once again. And come back up. I'm going to take a Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose, soles of the feet together. Knees drop outward and sitting bones as close as it feels right for you to the heels. We'll stay upright. Maybe taking a hold of the arches of the feet with the thumbs or with the ankles or the shins. And we allow the hips to soften as the knees float a little downward. Looks like I'm shifted over to the right. I'm going to shift over to the left a little bit. I'm going to shift facing forward on my mat. And keeping the right knee bent, reach the left leg out to the left. So there's your left leg is coming out from the hip at an angle. We're going to take the right hand behind for a twist over to the right. And we'll switch sides, right hand outside the left thigh for a twist over to the left. Once again, we're going to face the heart toward the left knee and walk the hands outside that leg for a little fold. My body's not going very far today. I'm really working the loving kindness, the metta for my human form. Rise back up. This time face the right knee again and take the back of the left hand inside the left knee. We're going to reach up and over with the right hand, taking a side stretch. If you're super stretchy, your hand might get toward your ankle or your toes. That is not me today for sure, but the heart is lifting. We're finding metta for ourselves. No judgy. And the right hand comes outside the right hip. We're going to shift onto the right shin and find a little rock star pose, left arm nice and high. Pressing the toes of the left foot down and reaching the hips up, maybe a gaze up at your left thumb. As we sit the sitting bones back down, we take another fold over the left leg. And you might find you're going a little farther. Rise back up. We're going to take that to the other side. Right leg extends out to the right. Left knee bends. A little twist over to the left this time. Keep that right foot nice and active. And we sweep around facing the right knee for a fold. Rise up for a twist over to the right. Swing around, face your left knee, flip your right palm up and place the hand inside the right knee. Lift the left arm high. And we find a side body stretch, opening up from the left hip crease all the way up to the left pinky finger. Maybe the gaze glides upward toward the left thumb. And this time, rise up with the arms. Left hand drops behind the left glutes. Shift to press the right foot to the ground. The left shin to the ground and the right arm reaches high. Press those hips forward. Swinging the sitting bones back down, we face the right foot and find a fold once again. Rise back up. This time, both legs stretch in front. If you need to shift on your mat, feel free. Maybe bent knees if your hammies and your spine are feeling like mine today. We're going to reach the arms in front, lock them back into the shoulders, and then shift forward from the hips. So it's as if the heart is reaching past the feet. Almost as if you have loving kindness for the toes. Oh yeah, hands can drop, head can drop once you've reached your edge. And maybe with the breath, there's a little bit more lengthening of the legs. Belly strong, rise back up, soles of the feet to the mat. Spread the feet as wide as your mat. Hands can come behind you. We're going to take a little torso twist here. Moving the knees gently and slowly, as if you're exploring, discovering, feeling and sensing, rather than trying to find some perfect tap of the knee or whatever it might be. Sometimes that's our thinking mind takes over and we don't even notice. Let's see where you feel this. I got a little something going on inside my left thigh, my left glutes, a little tightness. And we're going to find our way onto all fours and take whatever the body calls for here. That could be cat-cows. Maybe you have a movement left and right. Maybe you take hip circles. I am removing my outer layer. And explore here as well. It's part of what today's practice is about. It's finding a gentleness, a loving kindness, an unconditional love and compassion for oneself. Keeping the hands right underneath the shoulders. Reach the left leg long on the mat and then reach the right leg long. It's keeping the balls of the feet on the mat, finding a high plank. Maybe you pedal a little bit here, feel it out, draw the belly in and up. Real estate between the shoulder blades. Exhale, lift all the way to down dog. Pedal things out. Go ahead and float the right leg off the mat. You might move the left foot more toward the center, left to right. Draw your knee to your nose, shift your shoulders over your wrists. Inhale, extend that leg back up. Draw the foot to the mat. Left leg floats high. Draw your knee to your nose. Inhale, extend. Foot returns to the mat. Peel forward, high plank, and slowly lower all the way to the ground. If you need to drop your knees to aid that, go right ahead. Make sure the body is long, long, long. Bring your arms into a cactus shape. Turn to the right so that your left ear is pressed to the earth. Fallen tree, the right knee bends upward and out so that the right foot comes inside the left thigh. Draw the right leg long. Bring your forehead to the mat. Bring your right ear to the mat. Fallen tree on the other side. Left knee bends. Keeping your right ear on the mat, lengthen your left leg again. Go ahead and take your left hand underneath and outside your shoulder. I'm going to press into that left hand. Roll over to the right. You're opening up the right shoulder and side of the chest. Your head might drop, maybe not. So rolling onto that right hip as much as you possibly can. And roll back to center. Turn your head so that the left ear is on the mat. Bring your left arm into the cactus shape. Right hand comes just outside your right shoulder. Press into that palm to roll onto the left hip, opening up the left shoulder and arm and chest. Roll back to the belly. We're going to take Sphinx pose, a very gentle back bend. So drawing the elbows underneath the shoulders, fingers super wide. It's as if you're drawing the mat backward while you're pressing the heart up between the biceps. Maybe you can go a little deeper, but you're pressing the bony hips to the earth and drawing the navel away. If you have low back issues, you might spread the feet nice and wide. Draw all the way down to the mat. Cross your ankles. Bring your hands outside your chest. Send your sitting bones back toward your feet with crossed ankles. Nice big stretch of the spine. Maybe you float the heels and the palms of the hands off the mat so the heels are reaching away. The heels of the hands are reaching away from you. Long tabletop. Switch the cross of your legs and send your sitting bones back toward your heels. Long tabletop into a child's pose. Knees super wide, big toes touch, sitting bones draw toward the heels. Lower back is nice and long and wide and rounded. Forehead to the mat or a block or a pillow or a folded blanket or a stuffed up sweatshirt or a Rubbermaid container. Palms pressed together here, pinky fingers on the mat, thumbs toward the sky. Bend your elbows, bring your fingers or your hands to the nape of the neck. Excellent word, nape. One at a time, the elbows crawl forward, allowing the armpits to open up as the torso extends, but don't forget to draw the belly in just slightly to protect your low back. Explore this. See if movement helps, or maybe the breath, or maybe just a letting go of someplace, somewhere inside the body or the mind or the heart. I'm trying out doing the Padma Mudra from this position. It's a little hard because the heels of my hands are not together, but kind of fun. Palms of the hands drop to the floor. And then we lift the wrists off the floor, coming to the fingertips. The elbows are lifted as well. Nice and long here. We take a breath in. Crawl to the hands to the right, to the hands. Crawl the hands to the right. And find a nice side body stretch. Ooh, that feels so nice. Pinky finger all the way to the left sitting bone and back again. A hobbit's tail. The breath in brings us back to center, and a breath out over to the left. Crawl the hands back to center. Come into a forearm tabletop. I know you only have two arms. My dad would have loved that. Take some cat-cows with the elbows right under the shoulders and the knees as wide as your hips and the feet as wide as your knees, as wide as your hips. That's like that game Telephone, Pass It On. Or maybe it's like that game Picnic. I'm going on a picnic and I am bringing a forearm cat-cow. I'm going on a picnic and I'm bringing a forearm cat-cow. And next, what's really called dolphin, but I'm going to call it a forearm downward dog. So come into a neutral spine. Find the toes tucking under and gently press. It's sort of pressing and pulling in the arms and the hands to draw the hips high. We won't stay here for long. Press the chest toward the thighs. Maybe you look toward your thumbs. Maybe the feet walk toward the elbows a little bit more. Come back to your forearm tabletop. A full tabletop for a cat and a cow. And then we're going to open up our glutes a little bit. Neutral spine. I think we've actually done this posture the last 3 or 4 classes. I find it beautifully opening. So we're going to float the right leg off the mat, keeping the hips square. We're getting nice and strong to start with. Working the square hips, reaching the right toes down, pressing into the top of the left foot. And we're going to float the left arm in front, just working our strength here for a moment. Left hand down, right leg sweeps out to the right. It might not come very far. We're going to keep it off the ground as much as possible. My toe touched down. Use the belly and the glutes. Sweep the right leg over the left calf. Maybe a peek over the left shoulder. And place the right foot onto the ground, but keep the shoelace side of the foot on the ground. You're going to glide the front of the right hip back toward the left heel. Draw to your forearms, around your shoulder blade, your shoulders a little bit. Tuck your right toes under, float the knee off the mat, and reach your heel farther away from you. Loving kindness. If your body is feeling different from your expectation, maybe let go of the expectation. Draw to your 3-legged tabletop, knee to the nose. Extend the leg, and then drop the knee back to the mat. Might feel good to sway the hips left and right, take hip circles, something of that ilk, and then come back to a neutral spine. This time, left leg floats behind, finding your steady state. Long, slow breath, steady gaze at something. Square those hips up. Make sure that right hip isn't sneaking over to the right. We tend to compensate. Pressing energy into the palm of the left hand and the top of the right foot. We're going to float the right arm in front. Right hand down, left leg out to the left. Left leg swings behind you and crosses over the right calf. A peek over the right shoulder. Shoelace side of the left foot onto the ground. Glide that foot away from you until the front of the left hip comes toward the right heel. Forearms, something to hang out with here if that feels right. Left toes tucked under to lift. Left toes tucked under to lift the left knee off the mat. Press the heel away from you. Return to a 3-legged tabletop. Guide the left knee to your nose, scooping the belly in and up. Inhale, extend. And the knee returns to the mat. Again, Maybe hip circles, cats and cows, some other shape or movement. Explore, discover, allow, feel, sense, experience, gentle and kind, compassionate. Neutral spine, hands walk forward, tuck the toes under, use a breath out to return to down dog. And lift of the heel so you draw to the tiptoes, a press of the chest toward the thighs. Now look past your hands and tiptoe through the tulips, which don't exist yet in Vermont, all the way to your hands for a forward fold, perhaps a rag doll or another bind. Hands release, breath out. Halfway lift, maybe the hands glide to the shins. Belly super strong. Spine is long, shoulders are away from the ears. Breathe out for a fold. Take that 2 more times. Using the breath in the belly a lot warms up the big muscles. And a forward fold. In the fold, we're going to clasp the hands behind the head. Bring the thumbs alongside the neck and drop the elbows. Use a nice long rolling motion to explore your way to standing. Keep the elbows pointing inward toward each other until the shoulders are stacked over the hips. Once that is the case, elbows open wide. Lift, lift, lift from the top of the pelvis all the way up past the heart. The sort of I'm a little teapot piece where we tilt over to the right, pressing into the outer edge of the left foot. Maybe drop that right hand, but keep the left hand behind your head. Lift the heart. Rise up, right arm overhead. Bend the elbow to clasp the fingers. Breathe in. Exhale, tilt to the left. Elbows open wide, heart lifts. Drop your left hand. Keep the right hand behind your head. Rise up, lift the left arm, and float the right arm. Exhale, hands to your heart, Samasthihi. Hands drop by your sides for mountain pose. Maybe a little roll around on your feet just to feel all 4 corners. Because mountains move, we just don't generally see it unless it's massive movement. A little shift onto the right foot and the left knee lifts up toward the heart. Just finding a little balance. Left foot down, right knee lifts. Right foot down, sweep your arms high. Fold over your legs. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Keep your fingertips on the ground. Lift your heels away from the mat and sink your bottom down toward your heels. So we're finding a little length and strength in the back and some strengthening of the feet and the ankles as the hands come to your heart. Maybe slowly you press your way all the way to standing. See if you can keep your heels off the mat. Bring your heels down and sit into chair pose, Utkatasana. It's one of my favorite Sanskrit words, Utkatasana, chair pose, aka awkward pose, because it is kind of awkward. See if more energy can draw into your heels, so much so that you lift the toes off the mat, spread them wide, and one at a time, starting at the pinky toes, bring them back to the mat. Quads might be yakking at you right now. We're good. And take a twist to the right with your left arm in front and your right arm behind. See if you can stay in your chair. Keep your belly strong to take some of the energy out of the thighs. And yet the thigh energy should be spinning inward. So as if the thighs were pressing a block between your legs. Draw forward, both arms forward, lock the shoulders back in toward each other. Breathe in. Exhale, twist other way. You got this. Inhale, rise up. Woo! Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Clasp your hands behind your back. And maybe in your forward fold with bent knees, the hands can float, still bound, away from the spine. We loosen up the head, the jaw, the eyebrows, the shoulders. Drop your sitting bones, drop back into chair pose, drawing the knuckles toward the earth. Use the belly a lot for that. Once again, rise up fully to your height or to your full height. Pick a sentence structure, forward fold over your legs, halfway lift. Forward fold with exaggerated movement, runner's lunge, left foot behind. So you might even lift that left leg as far to the sky as you can before stepping it back. A twist, right arm high, left hand down. Right hand down, step into your forward fold. Rise up. Breathe out, forward fold. Halfway lift. Once again, exaggerated into runner's lunge. Back knee to the ground. Twist, right arm high. Right hand down. Back foot steps up to meet the front. Chair pose, Utkatasana. I know there's a lot of chair going on today. Exhale, forward fold. Lift halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Hands to the ground, exaggerate your way into runner's lunge and right foot behind. In this exaggerated movement, I can feel how tight my calves are. Right hand high, right hand down, left hand high. Left hand down, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, rise to standing. Breathe out, fold over your legs. Halfway lift. Forward fold, runner's lunge, exaggerated right foot back. Back knee down, twist. Left hand down. Step the left foot back to find a tabletop. Ankles crossed to roll over your feet. You might shift around a little on your mat. About 7 minutes left, so we're going to come all the way down to our backs in whatever way makes sense for you. So we can find a supine figure 4. Right ankle crosses above the left knee. Press that right knee away from you and activate both feet. This might be where you stay with the shoulder blades kissing the ground, moving away from your ears. Or take the hands behind the left thigh and draw the left knee toward your chest or your armpit. That gives you a little extra leverage with the right elbow to press the right knee away from you. Maybe you take ankle circles with that left foot. Loosen the shoulder blades. Bring that light smile to your face. Press the left foot back to the earth, and if it feels okay, you might take the outer edge of the right foot into your left hand and bring that right foot a little closer to your torso, pressing the right knee away. Just a little bit of a different angle for the opening of your right hip, but we're going to be careful not to torque the knee or the ankle. This time, right foot plants on the earth, left ankle crosses above the right knee. Supine figure 4 here, or supine pigeon. Pick your pose name. Pick a pose. Being sure not to crank around on the neck. Again, maybe ankle circles with the right foot. Place the right foot down. Grasp the outer part of the left foot with your right hand. And then work the left knee away from you. Both feet on the ground, a shift of the hips over to the right to drop the knees to the left for a twist. If it feels okay for your neck, with arms outstretched, the chin and nose might face to the right thumb. Big, huge breath in. And a full, complete breath out. Yeah, that feels so good. A great place to come back to that feeling of gratitude, that being for whom you feel gratefulness. Maybe this sense of love and compassion, loving kindness is building back up in the space around your heart. Maybe it feels like green or fog. Or take all that to the other side, hips shift to the left, knees drop to the right, gaze moves opposite the knees. Big cleansing breath. Roll back to the spine, aligning it as much as it normally would be, top to bottom. And we gather the knees in toward the chest to give them a squeeze. Find a little rock left and right, maybe knee circles. Preparing for a final resting posture that went by quickly, at least for me. Make your way into either legs up the wall, Supta Baddha Konasana, standard Shavasana length of the body and the legs and the arms. Palms face up, big breath in. Complete breath out. Sneak the shoulder blades off the mat one at a time to bring them closer to the hip on the same side. Let the feet flop out left and right if they do so naturally. And see if you can come more to the outer edge of the arms so that the palms face more upward. The fingers will naturally curl, and that's what you can be okay with. And notice the space around the heart. With the breath in, I am loved. And with the breath out, I give love. I am loved. I give love. I am loved. I give love. Filling your whole body with love on a breath in. Sharing so much of that love on a breath out. And all that encourages movement into the body so that the knees can bend, enabling you to roll onto one side as you bring back to mind your intention. Using your top hand, keeping the head heavy, press yourself to a seat. Palms find their home together at your heart. And we share the merits of this practice with our love and gratitude, our kindness and unconditional compassion outward, sending it to ourselves and to all beings. We use the sound of Om to do so. Thumb knuckles meet the center of your forehead in order to honor one another by bowing and saying Namaste. May this practice have offered benefit and not harm. May your day be delightful, and may your week be amazing. With love to all of you, thanks from Salt and Sand Studios. Hope to see you again soon.